Welcome back. Take a close look at your last grocery receipt. That single bag of groceries from Loblaws or Metro that used to cost $50 is now $90. The prices are not just higher, they feel aggressive. It feels like every time you enter a supermarket, you are paying a penalty just for existing. You are a direct victim of a silent, invisible financial crime. We call this crime inflation. But inflation is not just prices going up, that is merely the symptom. Inflation is the currency in your pocket physically dying. Society has been conditioned to accept this as normal, but there is nothing normal about your hard-earned value systematically evaporating. This silent thief is robbing every Canadian household, quietly draining the purchasing power of their wages. While the official numbers say inflation is 3 or 4%, the mathematics at the checkout counter feels much, much higher. This is the ultimate defensive battle for your financial survival. To win, a psychological and tactical shift must occur. It is the invisible force that keeps safer savers perpetually trapped. It is time to identify the enemy. The standard definition of inflation, too many dollars chasing too few goods, is useful, but incomplete. To truly understand why your money is failing, we must look at the source, the Bank of Canada. Inflation is not a mysterious natural disaster. It is a policy decision. It is an expansion of the money supply. When the central bank injects trillions of new dollars into the system, a tactic technically known as quantitative easing, the value of every existing dollar is instantly and mathematically reduced. If the amount of real wealth in the economy, the goods and services, remains the same, but the total amount of paper currency doubles, then the prices must rise because each paper dollar is worth half as much as it was before. The problem is exacerbated in Canada, where a few massive corporate oligopolies dominate critical sectors like food and energy. These corporations, which we already established, are profit-focused in previous manuals, will always pass their rising costs, and often more, directly onto the consumer. Inflation is a transfer of wealth from those who save paper currency to those who own hard productive assets. This brings up the most dangerous trap for safer savers, the bank account. For decades, the mantra has been that cash is king and saving money is safe. But the rules have changed, and the banks are not telling you the full truth. Consider a typical Canadian high-interest savings account, which might pay a generous 3% interest. On paper, it looks like a guaranteed gain. But if the official rate of inflation is 5%, the real mathematical result is a net loss of 2% per year in purchasing power. You may have slightly more paper dollars at the end of the year, but those dollars can physically buy less food, less fuel, and less housing. The bank is paying you 3% while the currency is dying at 5%. The bank, as we discussed in the Monopoly Method manual, takes your cash deposits and reinvests them into their own productive, high-return assets that do protect against inflation, generating double-digit returns for their shareholders, not their depositors. Leaving your capital sitting passively in a traditional savings account is not safe. It is a slow, methodical financial suicide. You are working hard for currency that is rapidly losing its utility. To truly understand the severity of this wealth destruction, we must examine the historical context. The human brain is terrible at perceiving slow, gradual change. But if you zoom out, the mathematics are horrifying. Let us observe the purchasing power of a single $1,000 Canadian bill, if such a thing still existed. In 1980, $1,000 could purchase months of premium groceries, a substantial portion of a vehicle, or several mortgage payments on a middle-class home. If you had buried that exact same $1,000 in a perfect, impenetrable time capsule in 1980 and opened it today, the physical paper would look identical. But its utility has been decimated. That same $1,000 today will barely cover 2 weeks of groceries for a family of 4 at Loblaws, or a fraction of a single rent payment in Toronto or Vancouver. The money did not change, but its value evaporated into the system. This is the ultimate proof that hoarding paper currency is a mathematically guaranteed failure. The longer you hold cash, the poorer you become. To survive, you cannot just save, you must outpace the destruction. The defense against this silent thief is straightforward. You must convert dying paper currency into inflation-protected assets. Cash is a depreciating liability. An asset is something that intrinsically holds its value or actively produces income regardless of the money supply. Some investors use physical real estate or gold, but for the safer saver building a tactical portfolio, the ultimate weapon is the dividend aristocrat. We discussed the Canadian oligopolies previously, the banks, the telecoms, the utilities. These corporations do not absorb the cost of inflation, they pass it directly to the consumer. Because their revenues rise with inflation, their profits rise with inflation. And most importantly, their dividend payouts to shareholders rise with inflation. A true dividend aristocrat in Canada is a company that has increased its cash payout every single year for decades. When inflation spikes to 6%, these companies raise their dividends by 7 or 8%. Your income stream becomes a living, breathing shield that automatically scales up to defend your purchasing power. You are no longer fighting inflation, you are profiting from it. Execution is the final step, separating the victim from the victor. The strategy is to utilize the tax-free bunker, the TFSA, to house these inflation-protected assets. When you buy shares in Canadian Dividend Aristocrats inside your TFSA, you are legally shielding a growing inflation-beating cash flow from the government. Every time the central bank prints more money, your assets mathematically reprice themselves higher. The era of trusting a basic savings account is over. A 3% yield on a dying currency is a mathematical illusion designed to extract your wealth. The silent thief is working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, draining the value of your labor. The only way to stop the theft is to stop holding the asset that is being stolen. Convert your cash into ownership. Buy the protected monopolies. Build a dividend stream that outpaces the printing press and lock it inside your tax-free bunker. The system is rigged against the saver, but it heavily rewards the owner. Make the transition. Shields up.